and bring you news throughout the day as it warrants. Now, we're going to talk about the heads of the FBI and Homeland Security this morning who were supposed to take part in a Senate hearing on worldwide threats, but that hearing was abruptly canceled. CBS News Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Sganga joins me now to talk about this. So, Nicole, why did Christopher Wray and Alejandro Mayorkas suddenly refuse to appear? This was just sort of a last-minute thing.
Yeah, Vlad, this is fascinating. The committee chairman, Senator Gary Peters, calls this a shocking departure from really a long-standing tradition of transparency. Actually, the first time in more than 15 years that a DHS secretary and the FBI director have refused to appear publicly before the committee. Senator Rand Paul, the Republican ranking member here, also echoing that sentiment, calling it unacceptable. The FBI saying for its part, you see it on the screen there, that the agency leadership has testified extensively in public settings about the current threat environment and that they believe lawmakers would actually benefit from doing this in a classified setting. And Secretary Mayorkas, DHS pointed out, has publicly testified 30 times before Congress. But the argument here, in order to discuss some of these threats in detail, it requires, the sharing of more sensitive information.
So what are some of those current threats? I mean, as you've indicated and as those the directors have indicated, we are well aware because we've seen them testifying on the Hill many, many, many times about the threats to the homeland. But are there things that maybe we're not aware of, and that is the cause for this classified briefing?
Yeah, Vlad, let's talk about the current threat landscape here. Federal investigators confirming earlier this month, but not giving too many details, that Chinese-linked hackers breached a slew of telecom companies, stealing data relating to the U.S.'s lawful wiretaps, exfiltrating cellular records on Americans, and even eavesdropping on the conversations of what they called a limited number of individuals who are primarily involved in government or political activity as part of this sort of espionage campaign by the Chinese. CBS News and others have reported that data was targeted on phones used by President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, again, part of this sort of wide-ranging intelligence collection effort. But a lot of questions there. Add to that intelligence agencies have been briefing the president-elect and have previously that Iran is still threatening his life, along with a list of former national security advisors who led his administration, all that, perceived as retaliation for the U.S. drone strike killing Qasem Soleimani, back in January of 2020. Separately, Iranian hackers targeting the email accounts of Trump's allies and, members of the campaign. We should note those attacks also targeted the Harris campaign, not to mention Homeland Security officials aware of, as the last report just indicated, an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. Russia sending a volley of missiles to eastern Ukraine, Lebanon's southern district bombed by Israeli warplanes. The sort of lights have been blinking red for a long time, and all of this is happening as Trump continues his sort of portrayal of DOJ and the FBI as being weaponized, plus 2 assassination attempts on the president-elect's life, prompting calls for really serious reform within the ranks of the U.S. Secret Service.
All right, still to come, to be continued, my guess is, Nicole, because these lawmakers are going to want answers on some of those threats. We appreciate your reporting. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.